So Nico Collins says that the Texans offense this year is going to be real dangerous.
Dangerous like GoldenEye. This sounds like the GoldenEye thing.
Great game. One of the great games of our time.
Very good game. Yeah, I almost wonder, Joe, what the hell could stop it from being dangerous? It does feel like it has the makings of being, as we've discussed before on this show, like bare minimum top 5 offense.
If they're not top 10, it's like probably a massively disappointing season.
You would be pretty frustrated.
Yeah.
Unless the defense turns out to be incredible. And I don't know that the defense is about to make the leap from being where it was last year, which was passable for the most part, to being like one of the strengths of the team. You just take a look at the money that they have invested in that side of the ball versus the offensive side, even with the offseason where they signed Daniil Hunter and they signed Nico Autry and Azeez El-Shaair at linebacker, among others. Yeah, you're still looking at the offense as the clear better unit.
Yeah, the offense is. It would be shocking if they're not very good this year. If they're not good, I'm going to guess the problem starts up front. That your center and left guard position are still a massive problem. That between Scruggs, Patterson, Kenyon Green, I guess Titus, like potentially, like if things are a disaster and you have to move him inside and put Blake Fisher at right tackle, like that's a problem. And that's your weakness. And then you do have Titus Howard, Tunsil, Mason. They're a little bit older, like specifically Shaq Mason and Larry Tunsil. So like maybe you have some injury problems. I mean, they used so many offensive linemen last year. So if they're not dangerous, I feel like it's because they can't protect CJ. I would guess. I feel like I don't even know.
Even then, though, I mean, do you look at this offensive line, barring injuries, as something that's going to give CJ Stroud issues, especially considering where the first couple of games of the year did look like Stroud was going to get sacked something like 70 times.
I think it was like 11 in the first 2 games.
Right. It looked like it was on pace for David Carr kind of decimation, and he just got a lot better at getting the ball out quickly, and he continued to improve week to week to week. I feel like that's really the big strength of his at this moment in time, is that he seems unfazed by the pressure, and yet he doesn't get sacked and he doesn't throw interceptions. And it's the reason I bring up Tom Brady a lot when I watch CJ Stroud. I am reminded of him in that way. Brady was really good at avoiding sacks, and Brady was very good at not making those absolutely critical mistakes. Not to say that Stroud's never made one, but for a rookie, the amount of mistakes he did not make last year was very surprising. There were certainly some almosts over the course of the year, probably like 5 or 6 that could have been picked off where he got a little bit fortunate, but still, I feel that's the best part about him. And the offense is very dangerous when the person running things is the most dangerous.
Yeah, and Ron points out here on the Twitch, like the run game, if it's on point, the offense is going to be really good. It should be improved with Joe Mixon. Even Singletary did a fine job, but I think with Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce, like you should have an overall improved run game, not just running the ball, but catching the ball out of the backfield. You could say CJ, obviously, you got to take CJ injuries out of the question here. I think that's why I focus on the offensive line, because we've seen those guys get hurt. Even if your wide receiver room gets depleted with injury, you have so much depth there. I think you can withstand a major injury within this season. Bobby? Could it be Bobby? Like, could Bobby Slowick be the problem? I don't think so.
Well, he does have his one play a game where he tries to get too cute.
Yeah, but does one play a game equal you not being dangerous? I don't think so.
If it's a disaster every single time.
That's a good point.
But I don't think it was a disaster every single time. There was some cute stuff that he did that actually did work out. Yeah, I don't think Slowick's necessarily holding it back either. Really, going into this year, they're going to be in shootouts, going up against teams that have good quarterbacks. And they have to be dangerous, though, because you mentioned that, all the injuries that could happen, that's really the only problems here. But if they are getting in their own way, then they're going to be getting outscored a lot. I like where the defense is going, and I like that they added to the pass rush, and it does remind me a little bit of when the Colts back in the early 2000s with Peyton Manning, they kind of complemented their offense by really just making the most out of their pass rushers, whether it was Dwight Freeney or Robert Mathis on the other end. They always had guys that were able to get after the quarterback. And if you have a team that gets leads. And then on the other side of things, you got two pass rushers who can pin their ears back and just run straight upfield and go after your guys, get 15 sacks a season or so. That helps. And I think that's where the Texans are trying to play their own brand of complementary football. Which you'll hear from every single coach just constantly extolled upon. It's the most annoying thing ever, but it is true. You do want your defense to complement your offense and vice versa. And the pass rush definitely complements the Texans' offense.
Let's go just like a full scale here, 0 to 100% confidence rating. How confident are you that CJ Stroud does not have a sophomore slump this year?
11.
Out of 100?
Oh, I thought you meant out of 10. Okay, sorry. Didn't listen. That was my own math issues.
You scared me for a second. I was like, "This."
Why'd you do out of 100?
Okay, so you know what?
That's fair. That's fair. You go first.
You scared me, man. I was like, this segment took a big turn.
I was like, I just don't trust him. No. Sorry, I didn't.
So 110% confidence that he does not have a sophomore slump.
110% confidence. Damn it! My brain's still in Florida.
It's okay. You didn't look very tan, by the way.
Shut up! I'm so tan.
I thought there was.
Do you want me to see the tan lines? There's some tan lines here, baby.
I don't really want to.
No, there's tan lines. I'm tan.
I don't know if we have to put like an R-rated on our Twitch if we start taking clothes off.
It's PG-13, but yeah, I'm tan in the spot where you would expect to be tan.
I would also. I'm pretty close to 110% as well.
Yeah.
I just don't believe it. Now, King of Twitch. Fair question. What makes you think CJ is exempt from a second-year slump?
I know ball.
Anything else?
I know ball.
I also agree. I just don't believe it.
Thank you for agreeing that I know ball. I know ball.
Paul knows ball.
King of Twitch, I know ball. Okay? And I mean, you people earlier in last fall were the same people like, oh, it's garbage type stats. Like, are you effing blind? Seriously, I'm talking to you right now. You and a couple of the other people in the Twitch. See what I'm doing with my hands right now? See what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? That's you. There were a lot of people that were doubting Stroud early on. Who was the first to say, this isn't just special. This is special. I will pat myself on the back for that.
Yeah, Paul was so ahead of the CJ Stroud thing. He asked him at a press conference about CJ Stroud's winning mentality. Joe, what record do you think the Texans had when he asked that question?
Because I saw it. I know ball.
0-2?
Yes. It was
After the Colts game?
I
it was after the Colts game.
But I knew.
He was like, what? And I gave him a lot of crap for it the next day.
I knew.
When we played, I was like, winning mentality.
It's like you haven't won yet.
Listen, we can't all grow up in Massachusetts watching the Patriots and being a legendary high school player at the lowest level of high school football in Florida with zero diversity, okay? We can't all be that guy. But as someone who has both of those things there, going for him, okay? I do know ball. And I saw the winning mentality when they were 0-2, Sean. I saw it.
They lost by 21 points
Who
to the backup
picked
quarterback.
the Houston Texans to go 10-7 last year?
Paul.
Something I did not pat myself on the back nearly enough, because apparently I do. That's what you have to do in the industry today. You have to kiss your own ass when you're right. Fine, I'm going to do it right now. I was right. That's how I know, King of Twitch. You were wrong. I was right. I am a golden god.
Ron says CJ was very smart with the football. He didn't do much dumb rookie stuff. That's why I believe he won't have a sophomore slump. Like, I get why there's doubters out there, why you would challenge us on the idea that he would not have a sophomore slump. Find me the last time someone had a generational rookie season and then they were bad their last year, like their next year. Andrew Luck didn't have a massive sophomore slump.
Define a slump anyway. I mean, what is it? Is it more takeaways?
I would assume
less wins?
For CJ Stroud to have a sophomore slump, I would say that he's going to have to make big mistakes when the game's on the line. Because what we saw last year, like the Arizona game, he leads the team down the field in last second opportunity multiple times last year. CJ Stroud, at the end of the game, doesn't make the mistake. He makes the right decisions. They win football games in crunch time moments. Sometimes you get help, like the Colts game at the end of the season.
Or the Bengals game where they dropped the touchdown pass after CJ Stroud threw the interception. That was return for a touchdown.
Yes.
Still have the Tampa game. Winning mentality.
You're playing week one or against who knows.
What's my favorite drive after an interception? The next one.
And you're leading down the field and CJ Stroud throws a crucial interception in the red zone. That happens multiple times throughout the year and you miss the playoffs. that to me is what a sophomore slump looks like. Like the interceptions, I don't look at as an important number. The idea that CJ Stroud's interception total is going to be as low as it was in his sophomore year as his rookie year is probably an unrealistic expectation. I'm not sure CJ Stroud plays another season with that few of interceptions in his career. They're going to throw the ball more.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we've touched on this a little bit earlier this offseason. You brought in Mixon. You're hoping that this offense is one where you're actually not going to be asking CJ Stroud to do everything every single week. You're hoping that there's going to be some games where you go up against a team that you know can't stop the run and you're just going to run it down their throats all game long. And I mean, that's what you would see occasionally from those Brady Patriots. Even as Brady got better, you would see them in some games where you would think, like, why aren't they throwing the football here? This doesn't seem to make any sense. You should be throwing every single week with your quarterback. No, you're going to go up against some teams where that's a matchup problem, and you would hope with Joe Mixon and hopefully a more engaged Dameon Pierce and a better offensive line that's also going to help, and that would keep perhaps the interception number down. It is going to be a big question going forward about how many he has. And
I mean, through 5, like, it's such a low number.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I want to say I got to look up the numbers officially because I feel like early on with Patrick Mahomes, the interception number was down. I think it went up a little bit, but then it has been steadily around 10. Out. I feel like for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you probably want CJ to be close to like 10 interceptions, but you want the touchdowns to probably look closer to 40. I mean, or like 30. Yeah,
I just don't want a Brett Favre. I just don't want someone who's a dumb ass, who doesn't show up for training camp and who half-asses it and then waffles on retiring all off season and throws like 20 interceptions a season.
Mahomes had 12 his first year as a starter. Then he had 5, 6, and then 13, 12, 14 the last 3 years.
Yeah, so keep it under 15.
There's
actually got better.
Little valley, and then yes. Yeah, Mahomes didn't have a sophomore slump.
But this is what you want to compare him to. Is it fair to right now? No, it's absolutely not. I mean, what Mahomes did early on was insane. And technically, he was in his second year, his first full season as a starter too. So there was that going for him.
Wasn't slumping his first year either.
No.
It was not slumping.
No.
There's no
50
slump
touchdowns.
in any Mahomes, however you want to
50 touchdowns.
5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, and that was in 16 games. That wasn't 17. That was in 16.
The NFL we grew up on was 16 games.
Like, that's the guy. I mean, he was, for a time, he had a chance at the records.
And then the second year as a starter, his third year in the NFL, only 26 touchdowns, but they did win the Super Bowl. So
pretty good.
Pretty good.